some short, very short thoughts on the feminine energy in Bali. So my own, as we encounter different frequencies, as I've said in the last few weeks, you know, that we move around the world, or we move into different jobs or into different relationships, ultimately all we're doing is encountering, and our spirit, if you like, our higher self, is guiding us into these different frequencies. So you might go to Russia. What kind of frequency is in Russia? What kind of frequency is in America, or different parts of America? Into the woods, into Washington, into, you know, the hustle and bustle, the busyness of New York, the coast of Los Angeles, or no, Los Angeles, well, yeah, there's different parts of Los Angeles, California. So there's different parts, the centre of London, the belly of the beast. If we're moved to go to these places, maybe on holidays, maybe on a retreat, who knows? We're encountering a frequency. We have an opportunity to integrate a frequency. So I've been here in Bali for 4 weeks, just shy of 4 weeks, and I leave in a week. And I've spent pretty much the 4 weeks so far witnessing and integrating and working with the extremely strong feminine energy here. Now, that's all good. Like, people might think, oh, isn't that lovely? God, you haven't listened. If you think that immediately, you really haven't listened to enough of my videos. You don't know where this is going. So, any frequency that's clearing us out, or that's raising, is going to flush out whatever we need to address, whatever lower stuff is within us. And that can be the case of going to Russia, you know, which could be, say, well, I don't know, I haven't been to Russia, but to perceive it or judge it from the outside could be quite strong masculine energy. So the world is, and there's a lot of cases of, like government, socialism, is all masculine energy. It's all about control, managing people, ticking boxes. So, so you know, I had some troubles with my visa here. Maybe that's where this video is coming from. But so the feminine, every energy that we encounter involves a clear out. We have to flush out. You know, I've talked before about the heart being like, you know, a great mansion with lots of rooms, and if we want to explore and live in that huge mansion and all those rooms, we have to enter into the dormant rooms. We've got to open the door, we got to open the window, we got to let the air go through, and ultimately we've got to integrate whatever frequency, or say frustration or memories or history, may be locked in that room and has not been addressed for however long. As we would integrate that frequency that's locked in that room, or that's been left there for maybe many years of this lifetime, since childhood or longer, previous lives, we gain access to that room. As we work through these rooms, we're gaining more access to... Sorry, I have two flies that are trying to eat my mosquito bites. Maybe I should just let them work away. So as we gain more access to these rooms, we're gaining more love, more of our heart, more of our being back. So that's why I don't buy into fluffy spirituality. We can't just go love, 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 and think happy things and have lovely things. We encounter our shadow, we encounter the unintegrated pain, we integrate the pain, we gain that room back, we gain that space back. So for me, for example, in arriving to this place, there's very strong feminine energy. Now, I'm purposely not using the word divine feminine. I'm trying to stay away from divine masculine, divine feminine, because I feel it's very egoic. You know, I see people on Instagram talking about their divine, I'm in my goddess energy, I'm in my divine feminine energy, and it's I don't know, it just doesn't resonate with me. That's not to say it's bad or it's wrong, but it's, how about woman, how about feminine? Feminine is beautiful. So the controlling, the undersexed, the tired, the frustrated, the minding the kids, that's still the feminine. We're going to discard all that and throw it in the fucking bin? I don't think so. I think that's all purposeful. There's a balance to be found here, and there's plenty. There's seas and rivers of bullshit in the divine feminine, in the perspective of the divine feminine. It's very egoic, you know, the photographs of the flowing hair, living my best life. I have every photograph is immaculately, you know, staged and designed, makeup perfect, nails perfect, hair perfect, and you don't see the shitty nappies, sleepless nights, you know, the period pains and the cramps and the fucking arguments or the stress. That's real life. So feminine for me seems to encapsulate all of that. So here we are with this strong feminine energy in Bali. What does that mean? What does that look like? Well, for me, it's like a resonance. You know, that if you turn up a frequency, say for an insect or an animal, it'll eventually affect that dog or that insect, that it's like fucking, like the insect is not thinking about it. So for me, as the insect, I'm the cockroach in Bali. It's intellectually, I can say yes, I'm being present with this as much as I can. I'm happy to release, I'm happy to let go of whatever needs to be purged or released. But that's not enough, because anyone now who has done medicine work will get this, that in the medicine, when you're in ayahuasca or whatever, and you intellectually can say, yes, I'm going to stay with it, I'm going to go with it, still got to go through it. You'll still feel the terror or the fear or the anxiety at times rush through you. You may purge and vomit, maybe for hours. So that's, you still got to go through it. So being present is only half the battle, and it does help. So for me, yes, I'm happy to face this. I'm doing my best to stay with it. I'd also go so far as to say that I'm actively facilitating it by going to places that I know that I will be challenged, that I know this energy will be flushed through me. But the flip side to that then is the old lower masculine that's in the bones, in the joints, in the DNA, and it's not even identifiable. I mean, my lower masculine behavior has what's the word, curtailed or been integrated. An awful lot of it has over the years, so I don't see myself as a violent man. I can be aggressive if you've listened to enough of my videos. I can be forceful, I think is a better way to put that, and that's purposeful as opposed to being aggressive. So there's still lower. Now this isn't up to me consciously. I didn't consciously decide I'm going to come to Bali and I'm going to encounter the feminine energy and I'm going to integrate and I'm going to release some lower masculine. Of course not. I'm just doing what I'm told to do. I just go where I'm moved to go, try to stay present with it and work with whatever it is. Don't really intellectualize it. But this is the awareness that I'm gaining, that so we're immersed here. I'm staying in Ubud. Ubud is saturated with yoga people, and I don't have a lot of time for the Western idea of yoga. I think is very wishy-washy. The deeper, total respect for. So I can't judge these people, I don't know, but there's plenty of beautiful women wandering around in their yoga pants and whatnot. There's probably a lot more women here than there is men, but there's also, I mean, the blue skies, there's the colours, there's the trees, the flowers, the plants. There's semi-naked goddesses everywhere. There's the swimming pools. There's a flow of feminine energy. You know, a flow. There's smiles. It's hard to put into words, but it just seeps through everything. So that naturally, on a deeper level, is gonna irritate, for want of a better word. We're gonna flush out any lower inflexible masculine energy. So the inflexible, as I said, is the control, is the resistance, which is, this is on my mind now because I'm making another video on it, on government or on socialism. That control, that need to keep ticking boxes, paperwork, bureaucracy. We see that in this country, and we see that in, you know, really in the West. It's the strength of the West. So what I'll touch upon in another video is that it's interesting how many Western spiritual people are actually unknowingly promoting the lower masculine energy. So I'll address that in another video. But so for me, this is being flushed out of me, and it's physically painful and confusing and all sorts of stuff, you know, in the head of what's going on, or it doesn't feel good. But again, I just keep coming back to it, witnessing it. I'm not actively doing feminine things. I'm not actively doing masculine things. That doesn't feel like the right thing for me to do. It feels like for me to just simply observe. I'll be moved to go to the pool. I'll be moved to go for a walk. I'll be moved to go to Qigong. And in that, I will be presented with an energy. I witness and integrate that energy. That's all I do. Now, another level of this is, so I'm a man, if you hadn't noticed, but I witness plenty of women here who are struggling, and I would say unknowingly struggling. Irritable, angry, frustrated, rattled would be a good word, because as I can see it, and I could be wrong, that, you know, most women who come to me, if not all, are looking for their feminine and masculine to be rebalanced. They have overactive masculine energy, which most of us in the West do. So we overthink, we have letters after our name, we're extremely successful, we've bought our own house, we're independent, but we really struggle to be interdependent. So, you know, women who come to me can be very successful and very independent, but they can't hold down a relationship because they can't open up. They can't be in their heart. They can't be in the flow of life. They're too much in the fucking head. They're analysing things. They're trying to make their best life. They're trying to manifest things. Get out of all that shit and just get into the present, get into the flow. That's another story. So I can see, you know, women who are doing yoga courses, women who look great, but really rattled is the word, because their masculine is they're overactive in the masculine, and they've unknowingly come to this, you know, feminine land. And often people think that, oh, I'll go to this feminine place, I'll have a wonderful feminine experience. Yeah, maybe. Maybe you will. Brilliant. But maybe as well it'll flush out. It's all good. So if you have that wonderful goddessy feminine experience in Bali, fan-fucking-tastic. And if you have a rough experience that it's really flushing shit out of you, fan-fucking-tastic. It's all good. The key to either of those is to not fight them, to be in the flow. So when the goddessy wears off and you're back to life, don't fight it. Go with it, see where it goes. Don't cling on and think, I still want to be in that kind of divine feminine egoic energy, or bliss, or whatever you want to call it. Don't escape it. Allow it to transition, allow it to pass. And it is interesting that we have lots of Western people who come here seeking, you know, yoga courses. They're seeking the feminine. But now I can't say this for lots of them. I don't know. I'm not meeting that many people at all, but I can see it. And I've always, not always, in the last 3 years, I've been a pretty good read of women. I can trust what I see, how they communicate, how they interact. I can read it pretty well. And I do see people struggle here. It's interesting that it is that kind of paradise and it draws people in, but they're all expecting, you know, holiday lifestyle, nights on the beach, free love, you know, yoga courses, divine feminine, all that stuff. And maybe they do get some of that I'm sure they do, but I'm sure they do get rattled as well, and they get challenged. So it's interesting, and it's, for me, it's part of my practice now, is to go in with eyes open, be responsible, and see, well, I don't know what this will bring, but I'm going to have a little think about what may unfold and go in with my eyes open. So I'm not going in with expectations thinking I'm going to go to Bali, I'm going to have an amazing 5 weeks and my fucking heart chakra will open and I'll be able to see into the future and I'll manifest my best Instagram life and I'll fall in love and I'll win the lottery. And it's no. I knew coming here this could be extremely challenging, and it's actually fallen in the middle. There's been some pleasure and there's been some joy and some light, and there's been some dark and challenge and all the rest. So it's fallen so far quite balanced, but you may never hear from me again. So that's, I'll wrap it up. I'll leave it at that. It's just interesting to see that and to be aware how these frequencies can flush out. Now, there's a woman I worked with a couple of years ago who I remember actually went through this. She had no issue whatsoever with men. She loved men, appreciated the masculine, but she was really being rattled and it was squeezing out her lower feminine. And that's pretty much what's happening to me at the moment. I've no issue with women. In fact, I love women, and my dynamic with women now is changing. My appreciation and my desire for them is changing, and I suppose broadening my awareness of my interactions and what I seek from, or what I enjoy from the company of women, is changing. but that in itself is bringing out the old stuff. Old stuff, to be honest, like that I did not know was there. It's not things I can put my finger on. Like, I can't actually label it and say, oh, I did this and this and now I don't do it anymore. It just feels like a physical transition. It's an energetic change that I know now as I encounter women, that I am changing more quickly, that I feel different, I look at them different, I communicate different. Now, I don't mean this so far in a client situation in the work that I do, although that is changing. I'm seeing it more in the kind of casual friendships or relationships or interactions with women, which is just different, which is wonderful to see. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I hope that made some sense. It might not have at all, but be well. Thanks for listening. I'll stick some links below. Oh, Pavel, thank you for the donation. I'm very grateful. It was an expensive week, so that was much appreciated. For anyone who feels moved to donate to help me with this work, there's a link below for PayPal. Thank you, feel free. Bye.